I need help.
Well,
I need help.
You're in the right
I just
place.
wanted to meet you.
Just come into his life, let him know that he's that.
Why do you love your dad?
He's incredibly compassionate and open. You definitely have more compassion for the average person than I do.
It's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are.
This is a story of love, conflict, war, influence, and addiction. Welcome to the life of Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, where we will tell you how Peterson almost didn't become the influential man that he is today, and how he almost died. What experiences defined him? What ideas shaped him? And how did he almost die? Join us as we tell you a tale of how Peterson gained influence within the four walls of classrooms to the four corners of the world. Subscribe and like the video if you want to be as knowledgeable as Jordan, and let us know who you want to see next time in Who Is? Jordan B. Peterson was born June 12, 1962, in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Peterson was the eldest of three children and what many would describe as a natural-born leader, but more on this soon. Peterson's mother, Beverly Peterson, was a librarian, and his father, Walter Peterson, was a school teacher, and they lived together in Fairview, a small town in the northwest of Alberta province. Peterson was different. When other children were interested in being children, Peterson had a burning desire for politics. He was curious about how decisions play an important role in the lives of people. So, at the age of 13, rather than run around or play video games like other kids would, he joined the New Democratic Party. As he grew older, so did his passion become fiercer. Peterson became obsessed with the Cold War. Did you know Peterson was going to be a corporate lawyer? So, after graduating from Fairview High School in 1979, Peterson gained admission to the Grand Prairie Regional College. There, he studied political science and English literature with high hopes of becoming a corporate lawyer. Then, something happened. Peterson changed his mind. Why did he do this? You see, while in college, Peterson read a book. He read The Road to Wigan Pier by George Orwell, and it significantly affected his educational focus and worldview. This book is a key part of who Peterson is today, and it was about how the working class deserves more than they have got, and most of them don't even know they can be more than they are. With a new focus, Peterson transferred to the University of Alberta, where he completed his BA in political science. After graduation, he took a trip to Europe, where he started studying the psychological origins of the Cold War and 20th century European totalitarianism. After a year, in 1984, Peterson returned to the University of Alberta and got a bachelor's degree in psychology. Then, in 1985, he went to Montreal to study at McGill University. There, he completed his PhD in clinical psychology in 1991 under the guidance of Robert O. Peel. After that, he stayed at McGill's Douglas Hospital until June 1993 as a postdoctoral fellow, working with Peel and Maurice Dongier. In 1993, Peterson was hired to teach as an assistant professor in the psychology department of Harvard. When he was at Harvard, he began to study the aggression emanating from drug and alcohol abuse. As it would turn out, Peterson would need his own teaching, but more on this later. He also further researched psychology by studying its various aspects, such as psychopharmacology, which is the study of how drugs affect the brain. He also studied abnormal psychology as he tried to further the understanding of unusual behaviors. Peterson also researched neuropsychology, the study of the brain, clinical psychology, the study of mental health issues, personality psychology, the study of understanding personalities, social psychology, the study of how people interact in groups, industrial and organizational psychology, the study on improving the workplaces. Peterson left Harvard University and returned to Canada in 1998 to become a full professor at the University of Toronto. It was while he was working as a professor in Toronto that he became much more popular and more of a public personality. By 1999, Peterson released his first book, titled Map of Meaning. In his book, Peterson shares a big idea about how we humans find meaning, develop beliefs, and create stories. It took him a whopping 13 years to finish writing it, and pulled ideas from lots of different areas like myths, religion, stories, deep thoughts, and psychology. As Peterson spoke more about his ideas, students wanted to hear more of him. This contributed to his fame. However, Peterson didn't just want to be limited to an academic audience. He became much more active on social media, and challenge and rejection of widely accepted concepts like feminism, transgender, and political correctness found a wider audience. Then, to cement his growing public fame, Peterson got into trouble. On the 17th of May, 2016, the Canadian Parliament introduced a bill titled Bill C-16. This bill states that people can't be treated badly because of how they express their gender or because of their gender identity. This means that discrimination or hate against someone based on their gender expression or identity is against the law. Peterson then took to social media to take a strong stance against this bill. As you would expect, this didn't stand well with the community that had fought for the bill to be passed, and he was attacked on all fronts for his views. Then, people twisted a dark narrative against him. Before the controversy, Peterson created a YouTube channel in 2013 where he posted a lot of lectures and speeches. Many of these videos were edited, taken out of context, and distributed so as to get him canceled, but this created mixed reactions to his views on gender identity. Did Peterson care about being canceled? No. He loved the challenge and was prepared to take on those who challenged him. Peterson handled his criticisms skillfully. So, whenever he was attacked for his view, which was random and often, he could always give an answer, cite a paper to back his points, and be very eloquent about it. His eloquence drew people to him, and the attempt to tear down his personality with various controversies became how he created part of his legacy and became cemented in the minds of millions around the world. However, as Peterson became more popular, something dark brewed in the background, and it is connected to one of his greatest successes. As of April 2024, his YouTube channel had gathered more than 7.8 million subscribers with 798 videos, earning him more than 721 million views. Peterson could be unconventional. However, being unconventional didn't take away one thing. Peterson truly cared for his students. He was transparent in his lectures, and he always tried to impart wisdom in every class he taught. Peterson's influence grew just as his expertise in psychology evolved. He began to appear on TV to talk about psychology, and one of his earliest appearances was in 2003. He was on shows like Big Ideas and had his lecture series based on his book. He even popped up in a BBC documentary talking about how Tourette's syndrome might connect to musical talent. From 2011, he became a regular guest on TV Ontario's The Agenda, discussing cultural issues from a psychological angle. He also discussed religion and God, having some big debates with folks like Sam Harris and Slavoj Zizek. In 2018, with over 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube and millions more on his social media, Peterson launched his book, 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos. At this point of releasing his book, Peterson was in chaos. We'll tell you about this soon. In the book, he discussed self-help principles in a more accessible style than in his previous published work. He narrates the 12 rules he believes every human should live by, and it was an instant hit. The book earned Peterson numerous awards, and it was the best-selling book in Australia, Canada, France, Germany, the US, and the United Kingdom. Now, how could it be that one book could be successful? The honesty in the text. Despite being at the receiving end of an outrage, Peterson never shied away from a challenge and maintained his stance about his ideals. However, just as he released his book, Peterson was dealing with two things: addiction and depression. Peterson began a strict meat and greens diet in 2016 and reacted violently to it. Peterson was blacking out and had anxiety. As a result, benzodiazepines, a drug used to treat anxiety disorders, were prescribed to Peterson, which he began to take. But things got worse. His wife had cancer. The cancer was so rare that there wasn't treatment for it, and his wife had only a year to live. He said,
And things just fell apart insanely with Tammy. Every day was life and death and crisis for 5 months. The doctor said, well, she's contracted this cancer that's so rare there's virtually no literature on it, and the 1-year fatality rate is 100%. So endless nights sleeping on the floor in emergency and continual surgical complications. So I took the benzodiazepines.
Peterson fell into depression, and as a result, the dosage of his benzodiazepines had to be increased. Fortunately, his wife recovered, but he didn't. His own battle had just begun, and things soon got worse. Peterson wanted to kill himself. Visits to the hospital were not helping. Everything pointed to Peterson dying. He said,
I had put myself in the hands of the medical profession, and the consequence of that was that I was going to die.
So Peterson took a risky choice. He chose to undergo a controversial Russian treatment. When he emerged from the treatment, Peterson temporarily lost his ability to walk and part of his memories. His suicidal thoughts returned. Fortunately, he made a full recovery later. The life of Jordan B. Peterson is no doubt a phenomenal one. As a kid, he has always been an intellectual who believed in the rights of every man and their innate power to better their life. Looking back at this, perhaps it is not a surprise that he grew up to be a teacher who defied the four-walled boundaries of the convention. So, what have you learned from Peterson? Who would like us to talk about next? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more.